Okay, only one person can claim the title of the nicest person ever. And according to Haley, her coach, today's guest on 5 Minutes with is that person. So thanks for being here, Christina.
Thanks, guys.
How's that for some pressure right there? The nicest person ever.
Immediately sweating through my clothes right now.
Well, why don't we just start out with no pressure and just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, career, background, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. So I was born and raised in San Jose, California. I met my high school sweetheart in Clay. We've been together 26 years and just celebrated 21 years of marriage.
Wow,
Um,
congratulations.
Thanks. We spent our anniversary on a road trip in Italy, so that was great. We have two young men, so we're semi-empty now. So 9 years ago, I made a dramatic shift from working full-time in the financial industry of banking industry and went part-time to our church. So I am now a full-time operations manager. So all things happening on campus, coordinating the rooms and dates and times with a team that runs production and facilities and admins and childcare maintenance. And then because of all that information that I'm in the weeds with, I also oversee our communications. So the communications director, and I work with our design coordinator, preparing all the elements that you need to like promote something or just highlight something. So from anything from the website to
Hmm.
social media to print to, signs, we work together and support our ministries with that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I grew up going to a big Southern Baptist church, and I remember thinking even back in those days, I was looking at the pamphlet because there's of course somebody like hands you the thing when you walk
Mhm.
in of the itinerary for the day, and I remember thinking to myself, somebody has to like think, put the what hymns are going to be on here and
Yeah.
put the words and the
Hmm.
announcements and all that kind of stuff. So I'm imagining all that kind of falls underneath your umbrella of management too.
Yes.
Added on to there was no social media back then, so it's like way more complicated now. So you've been working with Haley for a little over a year now. Do you remember how you found us and why did you hire Digital Barbell in the first place?
Yeah. So one of my friends from church, I saw her on her story reposting your story of her working out and her shoulder recovery. I don't know if you remember Christine.
Of course, yeah.
And she just kept posting things that you were saying. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And that sounds great. And so I just signed up for your newsletters and then your free guides. And then I talked to Jonathan on the phone. And so I just signed up and you guys assigned Haley to me. I was at a point in my exercise history of like, all right, something's got to give. I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I'm still equally frustrated. I've come a long way, but I want to take it to like the next level. And maybe there's just something I'm missing in the formula. And so that's how I came across you guys. And it just really has skyrocketed not only just my physical strength, but like my mental and emotional strength of who I am as a person in the grand scheme of, my life of. So it was just, it was healing in so many ways that I was like, I found the missing piece to like raise the level of my exercise.
Wow, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Did you have any expectations of what working with a coach online might be like? It's kind of a weird thing,
Yeah.
within the last 5, 10 years or so.
Hmm.
I don't think so. I think it was probably easier because at one point I was working out with my husband who was seeing a personal trainer he's a mountain biker and cyclist and he was training for Leadville. And
Hmm.
so I just tagged along and it's a lot harder having someone right there in front of you pushing you when you just want to punch them in the face. And this just seemed like, okay, I can control my
Hmm.
emotions. You guys don't have to see the ugly side of me. But I think being by myself in the gym actually helped me overcome me because I was the only one I was dependent on and was the only one who had to listen to myself. And in those hour moments, it's like, like I can do this and I can tell myself I can do this. And I've never been able to do that on my own. Like I'm someone who's always in my head, running, all the
Hmm.
things in my head, but I avoid just talking to myself and like encouraging myself. And so the gym time alone is what helped strengthen that. And it just kind of seeped into all areas of my life.
I love that. I've really identified with that
Hmm.
exact same thing because, I think there's something to like working out in a group, and it's almost like there's distractions around you. There's other
Mhm.
people to watch, there's people to listen to, and when you can just like spend that hour in your head, even sometimes like with no music, like, focusing on the workout, focusing on like the counting, focusing on like just, the talk to yourself, that's really powerful. And like you said, it spreads to the other parts of your life
Yeah,
that you wouldn't even think.
right,
Yeah.
right.
We talk a lot about on this podcast and everywhere about the value of doing hard
Mm-hmm.
things. And, you know, as Christians, I sometimes see all the things that we have to go through in life, and I hear people talking about how hard things are. And I always think to myself, like, yeah, this
Yeah.
world is supposed to be hard because it's supposed to show our dependence on God. And that's, an opportunity to share that with somebody. But how does your faith kind of intertwine with your ability to do hard things in the gym, and how is that kind of carried over?
Wow. The title 5 Minutes with Christina, this is going to take way, I'm sorry to all your listeners and watchers, but yeah, I was thinking about this, like, how has Jesus impacted this part of my life? Like growing up in this journey of my health has always been in comparison to like something else that we think is the model of beauty and acceptance. And if you don't look like this or act like this or work like this, then you're not accepted. And just in my own personal story, that acceptance is everywhere through my history. So it added on to my physical appearance, especially my health appearance, was like such, like, if I could just get there, then everything else will fall into
Hmm.
place. And like, I started working out 6 years ago and I couldn't even lift a barbell. And now it's like I can manhandle that barbell like nobody's business. But what it's done with my faith in conjunction with my health is realizing all along that who God has created me to be has always been good. And the way that I'm built, in my skin color and my hair and my eyes and like my strength, like God's made me to be this and it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And the world has told me that it's not good. And this is what good really means. And so just even like the separation of my relationship with God and like pursuing the relationship of this world um, has really like brought me back to him in the way that I've been cultivating my relationship with Jesus and reminding myself of this good news in my own life has helped me accept me for me because he made me
Mm-hmm.
good.
Hmm.
And like I told Haley, like I like watching CrossFit because it's the CrossFit games because it's
Mm-hmm.
so freaking amazing to see all these people do crazy things.
Yeah.
Same here.
And just looking at the women on there, like even just my mind shift of like, oh man, I wish I was that strong, or I wish I looked like that, or I wish I had a six pack on my back. But I look at their bodies and they're all different. And
Mm-hmm.
they're all, some are tall, some are short, some are more defined, and some aren't that kind of look like me. And I'm like, I'm just as strong as those women mentally and
Mm-hmm.
spiritually and physically. Like, this is good.
Yeah.
Uh, and what the world portrays good is like, I don't want that. I want what Jesus is telling me is good. And I want to pursue that more. And, it, like I told you before, like it's a full embodiment of the true story in my life that just really it just pours out. And there's a freedom that comes with it. Like, his life and his death and his resurrection was for that I can live freely as a human in the here and now until he
Mm-hmm.
returns or calls me home. And there's just like a lightness to that. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there's just not enough words to
Yeah.
Yeah.
express
And I think,
the
like,
beauty of that.
exactly what you just said there. And then because of that feeling, like having the motivation to honor your body with the things that contribute to your physical health
Mm-hmm.
also.
Yeah.
Flipping the script on, like, what is a treat to your body? How do you honor
Mm-hmm.
your body? How do you de-stress? Those
Yeah.
kinds of things. Like, that has a different definition than the world,
Yeah.
really, in
Yeah.
most ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is all stuff that, like, you can't necessarily put on the header of your website to get people to sign up, but
Yeah.
this is the kind of stuff that you get into with a coach once you realize, like, yeah, I want to lose 10 pounds and see my abs, but what has to happen up here between my ears to make that happen?
Yeah.
Like I hate the word. Say it every time I use it, but it's a holistic thing.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Yes.
mentioned like manhandling the barbell. I went back and looked at your questionnaire from when you very first started working with us about 14 months ago, I think it was. And this is a quote right from your questionnaire. You said that I can do 80 to 90 pounds on back squat or deadlift, and I can barely press the 45-pound barbell. So we touched base with Haley just for some more recent numbers, and maybe these have changed even since then. But last we heard, you're bench pressing 90 pounds for multiple reps. You're squatting 135 for multiple reps. You're deadlifting 145 for multiple reps. And it's been a while since you pressed with the regular barbell just because of the training cycle we're in, but you're pressing 70 pounds, not 45, for multiple reps also. How does all that extra strength translate over to the mental side and just your physical day-to-day life?
Yeah. Well, yesterday I back squatted 140. So,
Wow.
Nice.
but those are the, 2 reps 3 times.
Yeah.
But putting it into perspective, it's like I'm back squatting and deadlifting my body weight, me as a person. And that's freaking heavy, but also like so cool that I never thought I'd ever get there. And what it does to me physically and mentally is like, there's just a number of things oftentimes I carry a lot of weight, a lot of burden. I'm just a very tender-hearted person, and I just see things for what they are and enter in and feel and empathize a lot with people. And I sometimes picture those weights as the burdens I carry every day and realize like I can't do this and carry this every single day. Like I have to be able to lift it off my shoulders and put it on the ground or give it up to the Lord and be like, this is yours, not mine. And there's just something physically like freeing that this is just temporary. This weight is just temporary, but I can freaking do it,
That is a really great perspective.
It is.
Yeah.
You want to handle our like communication and messaging? Hiring. Man, no, that's powerful.
Yeah, that is.
Have you always been like that, or like is this something that's just come with strength training?
I have not always been like that. I've never been in a gym before in my life until 6 years ago. And it wasn't even a gym per se, but I played softball one season and I love baseball. I'm a big San Francisco Giants fan. But because of our growing up, we were limited to what we can do. And I was the youngest of 4 and my parents worked a lot. God bless them. So I never really had the chance to be physical. And I'm someone who doesn't like to do something if it could possibly make me look like I don't know what I'm doing. And so I stay away from it. And so being able to go into the gym and actually see that I can do it and it's not as scary, there's always that fear that you're going to have to like drop the barbell or you can't lift the weight. And then there's someone in there and you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to think I'm weak. It finally happened to me one time in the bench press where on the last multiple rep, I couldn't lift it up and I had to, escape from it, lift the bar and go the other way. And I thought in that moment, it would freak me out, like, and stop and like end the day and be embarrassed. But I was like, that's okay. I couldn't do it today.
Yeah.
But I can try next week.
Yeah.
And so, I think that helps answer your question about the mental status of it. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Man, thank you so much for sharing all this, because it's one thing for us to say, like, you guys out there believe us that like doing these hard things daily, lifting weights, getting strong, getting healthy with your body will translate to the rest of your life. And this is why we love doing these things, because like hearing you say this, and telling everybody, like, it truly does translate. And the things that we're doing in the gym aren't to look a certain way. They're to be strong.
Yeah.
Not only physically, but mentally, and face whatever each day brings us.
Any last words of encouragement for somebody who's, I usually wrap up with this, like they are now where you were, I don't know,
14 months
ago,
or 6 years
2 years
ago.
ago. Like, what do you say to that person who's like, I'll either get to it later or I probably can't do it?
Just take the first step in doing it. The rest will come. And then when you get to that point, look back and be proud of how far you've come.
Yep. That's a great point.
That is.
Well,
Yeah.
was awesome.
Mic drop on this episode, I have to say.
Nicest person ever. As soon as we hit stop, I'm going to go back and listen to this, get fired up, and go do my workout. All right. Well, we thank you for your time, Cristina,
Yes.
and I know we speak for
thank you.
Haley in saying that she absolutely loves working with you, and we value you as a client. So, thanks again.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.